When it comes to the Sentry, he isn't given much strength feats besides beating up the Thunderbolts. Sentry can also damage vibranium, that could tank attacks from Iron Man's lasers, which has a 200 petawatt energy output, which reaches about 172 gigatons of TNT or a large island level. This is consistent as vibranium has tanked multiple attacks from Mjolnir, which with a single lightning strike could overwhelm Tony's armor to 435%, which by going from the previous number given, would have a power output to around 950 gigatons of TNT. As for Sentry's scaling over feats, he has statements of being stronger than all the Avengers put together, which is backed up when Bob called himself a god as he had more power than one, referring to Thor. And there's just a consistent number of statements given, so it's fair to upscale Sentry's stats by using the Avengers. But who would be considered an Avenger, since we haven't had an official team post-Endgame? Well, it doesn't matter. The main thought was that Sentry was above the top tiers like Thor, Hulk, Captain Marvel, Wanda, Doctor Strange, etc. Upscaling from their immense powerful feats, and while we could argue their strength is wherever, Sentry has also been stated to have the power of 1,000 exploding suns, which is much easier to calculate since a single sun exploding, or a supernova, is equivalent to 1 foe of energy, meaning 1,000 of them would equal 1 kilofoe, easily granting the Sentry solar system level AP, which is consistent as being stronger than all the Avengers put together, would put him above Captain Marvel who could restart a star, Thor who tanked a neutron star, and other Avengers who could scale to them. The Sentry would also have to be faster than them, and Captain Marvel can traverse space fast enough to rescue Tony and Nebula, who were light years away from Earth. This has calcs ranging from 365,000 times faster than light to 1.4 million times faster than light. With Carol being able to fight characters at these speeds and other characters keeping up and reacting to her speed, other characters should scale comparable to her, with the Sentry upscaling all of them. In all honesty, from this alone, Sentry might have a chance to beat Thanos by himself, but again, that's a shot for another time, so like the video. When it comes to his powers, the Sentry can fly, has telekinesis, and can manipulate minds, but since he was mostly holding back, we don't get to see as much from him in comparison to the comics, who can use energy blasts and atomize people with a thought. So the Void, however, can do what Sentry can do, but as well as he can cloak New York in shadows, send the physical bodies of people to face their worst memories over and over again in the Void, which to overcome the Void's memory lock, you have to overcome your own past to break free from the experience. Oh yeah, and the Void stats should be comparable to the Sentry's strength and speed. Yeah. Now for Ben's side of this. How strong are Ben's aliens? Well, they should scale above a casual galvanic mechamorph that can remerge back Galvan B, calculated 272.1 petatons of TNT among each galvanic mechamorph. The higher forms being Forearms, Cannibal, and other aliens that somewhat scale relative to them, should scale to the Big Tick and the Planetary Explosion, with calcs ranging from 59.44 zetatons of TNT to 22.9 ronatons of TNT. Impressive, but still not reaching the immense power of the Sentry's 1,000 exploding suns. That was until I saw this. Vilgax had the power to create a black hole and destroy 5 planets. This is consistent due to the overall scaling for Vilgax. Humongosaur can nullify the power of the entropy pump. God damn it, I'm talking about it again. Whatever. The feat calculated 9.475 teraflow or solar system level, which Warlord Vilgax, who is only 10 times greater in power than his cyborg counterpart, would scale somewhat to. While most of 10-year-old Ben's aliens couldn't even damage Vilgax, Kevin can somewhat match Vilgax, and he can be overwhelmed by Cannibal and Forearms. There's also the fact that Ben has access to Waybig, who could tank a strike from Vilgax, just get pissed off to throw him out of space. This would give these aliens scaling above 947.5 gigafoe, or 10 times weaker than the entropy pump feat. Speaking of downscaling from UAF, a 10-year-old Forearms could keep up with the UAF trio against Ultimate Agor, implying combat scaling is very similar for the aliens despite power increases over the series. Ultimate Agor can travel galaxies much faster than Captain Marvel ever could even imagine, by the way, being capable of traversing them quickly, reaching 131 billion times faster than light, and unlike Carol, has been way more consistent at fighting at these same speeds. This would upscale 10-year-old Forearms and aliens that can move faster than Forearms like Accelerate, who was shown as the fastest of the original aliens. Waybig might also upscale from this Forearms going by future showings of a Toku star, but in terms of speed, Secrets of the Omnitrix doesn't show us any speed feats. In terms of versatility, Ben has a lot of forms to choose from with different abilities. Fire manipulation, crystal creation, sound waves, flight, electricity manipulation, technology amplification, it goes on. Ben surely has a lot more powers than the Sentry. But will it be enough? Okay, to get into the actual fight, probably the most effective way of beating Sentry is to blitz and overwhelm him, since the Thunderbolts did actually overwhelm him due to his lack of experience and their advanced skill, but it was just because they weren't strong enough to actually compare to him that it didn't last. It's also shown because Sentry has no real weakness besides his mental issues, which honestly without access to Ghost Freak, Ben wouldn't even try to attack Bob with. Not like that he should, it would just turn him into the Void. In terms of physical power, however, Ben could only beat Sentry's AP with the highballs and scaling of the entropy pump downscaling. In terms of a low end, Ben's form scaling above a possible black hole feat from Vilgax would only make him equivalent to one foe, or 1,000 times weaker than Sentry, but still closer than both of their high ends put together and above Bob's other scaling. In terms of speed, Captain Marvel and Ultimate Agor's travel speed has a huge gap that these characters just scale to. Even if Sentry was 100 times faster than Carol and Ben's aliens were 100 times slower than Greg, Ben would still be nearly 9 times faster than Bob. So in terms of stats, Ben takes it. And with being more versatile, Ben has multiple advantages over Sentry, but here's the issue. Ben without Master Control is limited to one transformation for 10 minutes and then 10 minutes waiting to recharge. Luckily, going by pure scaling, Waybig is enough to keep up and overwhelm Sentry alone if Ben doesn't have Master Control. But that does give Sentry the hacks advantage in that fight. But funnily enough, the perfect aliens for Ben to use to actually beat Sentry are the two forms he loses as a kid and gets back as a teenager, or at least uses as a teenager. Ghost Freak has so many hacks alone and can just possess Bob, and he is shown to straight up remove other personalities within other characters, potentially removing the Void and beating Sentry all in one go. Then there is Feedback, who is not only fast enough to outpace Sentry, but could simply drain Bob's stamina like he did against Ultimate Humongosaur. I know in Avengers Doomsday we'll probably get to see more of what this version of Sentry is capable of, but for now, this is what we got from the side of Sentry. Speaking of which, can Ben overcome the Void? Yelena could only overcome it by bypassing her own worst memory and protecting Bob from his memories and the Void. Ben could theoretically do everything Yelena did and better, but that's up to your interpretation. So in short summary, Ben is capable of stopping the Sentry and then possibly saving Bob from the Void. Oh, and liking and subscribing do improve your chances of seeing more power scaling content in the future, so don't do it for me, do it for you.